Welcome to Ask Jerry and Rebecca, part of Cold Wax Academy, a free video series where we answer your questions about cold wax medium.
Today I'm going to talk about oil paint, and in regards to two questions, one about using student-grade oil paint and one about using water-soluble oil paint, and I'll touch on a few other aspects of paint too. To begin with, I would also like to say that we do only use oil paint with cold wax medium. Acrylic is not compatible, and that is a question we get so often that I just need to say it here. You can't use acrylic. It may appear to work fine, but over time it does not hold up. And the other comment I wanted to make before I got too far into this was it's okay to mix brands of paint. Sometimes people ask about that. Do you have to stick with one brand? No, you don't. So I'm going to start with a question from Donna Litke, and she's asking about using student-grade paint and where it might be especially appropriate. And she is correct in that it's absolutely fine on your initial layers of your painting. To clarify what student-grade paint is, most paint companies make a line of what's called professional paint and also a line of lower-cost paint. So they're immediately distinguishable by the price. When you go to buy a tube of, say, cadmium red, it's going to be much cheaper as a student version. However, it will not have the brilliancy of color that a professional grade does because there will be other additives in the paint that sort of dilute the color. And so it leads to mud if you use it exclusively and because you don't have that brilliant, strong color. And, you know, it's fine if you're okay with that. It's fine in the beginning stages of a painting, which is when a lot of people use it. It's economical to use it that way. I do want to mention a company that makes a very good, exceptionally fine lower cost paint, and that is Gamblin. This is one of their tubes of 1980 oil paint. And this paint is made with using marble dust instead of some other additives. And marble dust is something we use in cold wax painting. It doesn't dilute the color. And so it's a perfect way to extend the paint and yet not lose the strength of the color. And Jerry and I both use 1980 paint quite a bit. So that's one I can highly recommend. And the other question that I got, several people asked me, Petra Press, Julia Ogborn, and Meg Hubie all asked me about, or asked us about, water-soluble oil paint. Is it okay to use it with cold wax medium? And the answer is absolutely yes, it is. However, the fact that the cold wax contains solvent makes the solvent-free part of this type of paint pretty meaningless because you're going to be mixing it with a solvent-based product. And there's not, I mean, the solvent in cold wax is typically not very strong, not a lot of odor, but if you're sensitive to solvent, you'll lose your advantage in using these paints with the cold wax medium. That said, if you already have these paints, they are fine to use, just like regular oil paint. I just wouldn't go out and buy them to use with cold wax because you'll kind of miss the point there. I also wanted to mention briefly paints that are mixed with Alkyd dryers. These are sold, especially one called Quick Drying White. Several companies make that. And the Alkyd is a resin that's added to the paint in order to make it dry faster. So it seems like an advantage. It may be an advantage in your work. It really depends on what you're looking for. And these are fine to use, and they're compatible with other paints. So that's not a problem. They're compatible with Gamblin cold wax, at least, and because Gamblin also contains an Alkyd. I would say for myself, I don't favor these paints because I like the slower drying time. I like to have a surface that's open and workable for a longer time. And that is a personal choice, whatever works in the way that you prefer for your own approach to painting. But technically, they're fine to use. So I hope that helps clarify a few things about buying paint, using paint, and thank you for your questions.